When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. Tonight on Live Green Tennessee, we'll show you Chattanooga's bike share program that is making a difference in downtown. We then travel to Knoxville for a tour of a micro roasting coffee company that forges a tighter bond between the farmer and business itself. And finally, we'll visit an alpaca farm in Livingston, Tennessee that produces natural fleece as a wool alternative. All this and more coming up next on Live Green Tennessee.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture, providing leadership on food, agriculture, natural resources, and related issues based on sound public policy and efficient management.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green Tennessee. Chattanooga Bicycle Transit System is giving residents and visitors a fun and easy way to pedal their way to destinations around downtown Chattanooga, all the while reducing their carbon footprint by not using their cars. The team at WTCI shows us more on how the program works.
Bike Chattanooga Bicycle Transit System is the latest addition to our transportation network here in Chattanooga and for the state of Tennessee. It's an environmentally friendly, active, and fun way to get around our community. This project is actually funded by a congestion mitigation and air quality improvement grant through the Tennessee Department of Transportation. So our primary mission is to improve our air quality by reducing motor vehicle emissions. So now, while not every single bicycle trip is a replacement trip, it might be a trip which you upgraded from walking, or you might have used transit, but many of the trips will be trips that would have been taken by motorized vehicles. So 100% of the emissions from each and every one of those trips is saved by using a bicycle in its place. So we're very excited about the opportunity to minimize CO2 emissions and other particulate emissions from motor vehicle travel in our community.
If you want to take out a 24-hour subscription to the Bike Chattanooga system, what you do is you walk up here to this little station and you press the button that says rent a bike, and then it's going to take you through a bunch of steps. You'll swipe your credit card and it'll take you through a few steps. It'll ask for your phone number, your zip code, it'll ask you to sign an online waiver, and then it'll print out a little piece of paper with a 5-digit code. And then what you'll do is you'll walk over here to a keypad on the docking station and just type in that 5-digit code. You'll get the green light and you check it out. Now for me, being a yearly member, a yearly subscriber, I've got a smart card, and what I do is I just stick it in this slot, and when I get the green light, just pull it out, and it's mine. I can go, and then I can check it back into any station in the system. It does not have to come back to the station, and that's the really cool thing.
The bicycles for this program are specifically designed for public bike share use. Each bike has automated front and rear lighting, has fender guards, skirt guards, so you can ride it in a dress without worrying about it getting caught in the wheels. There's a basket on each bicycle with a bungee cord to hold your briefcase or handbag or groceries. So it's an easy way to get around no matter what you're wearing. Nothing special is needed, just hop on and go.
The bicycle itself is a 7-speed bike, so I can handle the hills in Chattanooga. In fact, I think this is the first system that has that many speeds, but it's got a little grip shifter that I can shift. I don't have to be pedaling to shift, which is really cool. Hand brakes, an adjustable seat, and the cool thing is after a while you learn what your seat height is. They're numbered right here, and I'm a 4. So whenever I'm getting ready to ride, I just know I got to shift my seat to number 4 and I'm ready to go.
The Bike Chattanooga system is maintained by the city of Chattanooga, so they're always ready to go and in good shape. So it's not your bike, walk up to it, tires have air, chain is lubricated, everything's ready to go for you. No maintenance on your part whatsoever.
I like the bike share program in Chattanooga best because of its accessibility. I'm a downtown employee, and on my lunch break, for example, having high heels on and being in somewhat of a suit for work, I can take the bike share out very quickly and just bike from my office down Main or down to Main Street and have lunch or visit a friend or get somewhere within 15 minutes that would take me double the time to walk. So it makes it very convenient, especially if I don't have a bike downtown.
It's amazing for me because I work downtown. And my husband and I both work downtown, but we work on opposite ends of downtown. So when we heard it was coming, the first thing we thought of was commuting. So we can ride in together from outside the city limits, park on one end of downtown, and the other one can grab a Bike Chattanooga bike and ride to his or her office. So immediately it's saving us money. We've plunked out the money for 2 yearly memberships. It's $150. We'll easily save that in gasoline commuting from 10 miles outside the city every day. You know, rather than using 2 cars, we're using 1 car. So that's amazing. I use it to get to meetings downtown. I don't get in my car, have to find a parking space somewhere. I can just hop on a bike and go. If I have a meeting downtown and I have to cross the river, I'll check out a bike at my office, nearby my office, ride across the bridge, and go to the nearest station near my meeting.
Now the other really cool thing is that if I'm going, for instance, to the dry cleaners or someplace like that, and I'm not near a station, but I've just got to run in and run out, this bicycle is my responsibility as long as I have it checked out. So I've got a secondary lock, a little cable lock. So what I'll do is I'll wrap that around a telephone pole, a tree, whatever, and then I will slip it right into this little hole right there. And when I do, it's going to give me this key. And I'll take that into the dry cleaner or wherever with me. So when I'm done with it, come back to any docking station and basically just give it a good shove. When I get the green light, it's locked. Off I go.
I would guess that my husband and I reduce our mileage to work by 100 miles a week by using the bike share, because we can share the ride coming in as opposed to having to drive 2 separate cars.
So not only is bicycle transit environmentally friendly, but it's just a fun way to get around. A little bit faster than walking, but not so fast that you can't experience the environment around you, talk with people, feel the fresh air. It's just a great way to get around and have a good time.
Three Bears Coffee Company came about through the owner's lifelong love of coffee, paired with his increasing concern for the people who grow it and produce it. East Tennessee PBS visited the Three Bears Coffee micro roasting operation in Knoxville, Tennessee. It is aimed at rewarding those who care by channeling economic resources to the farmers and importers who create and value sustainable systems within the industry.
My name is Jeff Schaefnacher. My business is Three Bears Coffee Company. I'm a coffee roaster. I've been roasting about 2.5 years now, and I focus on specialty coffees done in small batches. Three Bears Coffee is a Tennessee product serving the local Knoxville community, very specifically the downtown Knoxville community.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
Cup of light, please.
Betcha.
So I started drinking coffee when I was 5 years old. I've always enjoyed it quite a lot, and as I got older and came to understand the greater world around me, I decided that this was a place that I could really make a difference, and it was already something that I loved. Everybody drinks coffee. Everybody takes for granted the fact that somebody grew that coffee somewhere.
There you go.
So by choosing to work with these specific producers, even at the small level of business that I have, I'm able to direct those resources to those growers who are doing a particularly good job. So the producers that I work with, I've specifically chosen because of their conscientious approach to growing and community and the overall coffee economy. Those growers are all paid fair trade plus rates, and then the cooperatives that I'm involved with help serve their community by building medical facilities, schools. There's a variety of different social aspects to the work that's done with the premiums that are paid. I researched the different cooperatives and farms that I deal with. Most of the specialty growers have websites or other information that's easily accessible. That, in addition to any certifications, organic, fair trade certifications, I'm able to locate growers and producers that are doing conscientious things at source. So then I purchase those coffees through a couple different importers, and then they're delivered to me in 150-pound bags on pallets. So the roasting process starts by loading the green coffee into the top of the roaster, and then it is dropped into the roasting drum. At that point, I'm watching for several things: how much time has passed, the temperature of the beans, the overall air temperature in the drum. When all of those factors are what they should be for the particular roast I'm trying to achieve, the coffee is then dropped out of the drum and into the cooling tray, where the temperature is brought back down to nearly room temperature, and then it's loaded up into containers to get ready for packaging. The main focus of my business is to highlight the growers and the producers. There are a lot of people doing wonderful work in a lot of different growing regions, and so by directing resources to those folks, by buying their coffee, I'm starting out with a very high quality product that's very limited and gourmet in its scope. Then my job as a coffee roaster is to make sure that the coffee is roasted to the suitable levels for each particular variety. One of the main things that leads to the different variety in coffee is different variations or species of the plant, as well as different growing regions. The coffee I get from Rwanda is entirely different than the coffee that I get from Bali, for example. Those are also roasted differently. Not only do they need to be roasted to different levels, but they also act differently in the roaster. So my job is to suit the particular bean to the best ability. The reaction to Three Bears Coffee has really been great. The local community really appreciates the freshness and the uniqueness of the coffees that I offer, as well as what I'm doing for the producers. I love setting up at the Market Square Farmers Market. It's a wonderful and vibrant community of people. We see a lot of the same people week after week. People bring their families down and their dogs, and it's really a great place to be and serve the local community. I have a retailer in downtown called Just Ripe. They're on Union Avenue in the Daylight Building. I also have a couple other small retailers around the region in Sevierville and Blount County area. I envision having a more public space for my roastery and a more public place to serve the local community. A more public location would help me in that I would be open more hours, and people then could actually come and see the roasting process and see what is involved in more of the coffee chain than they may be aware of now. I really appreciate that I'm able to keep my roasting operation small though, because I think that adds to the freshness of the product. Coffee is a really wonderful thing because there's so much variety in the flavors that you can experience. To me, a really good cup of coffee is full flavored and highlights all of the unique characteristics of that particular coffee. The reaction has been very positive for Three Bears coffee. It's certainly a premium product. That means it's not necessarily a bargain, but the quality is just far superior to anything most people have ever tasted around here. With coffee, freshness is really of the utmost importance. The fresher the green beans, that is to say the closer to harvest that I can get them, is the best. And then after roasting, really within 24 to 48 hours the coffee is as good as it will ever be. It lasts for a couple weeks, but by serving my local community they can be assured to get the freshest coffee available to them.
Dr. Jory Schaefer and her husband Lance had an interest in raising animals that they didn't have to eat. Luckily, she ran across an article about alpacas while on a transatlantic flight that planted a seed. The couple purchased land in Livingston, Tennessee, and Harmony Hills Farm was born. WCTE brings us this story.
Well, I was on a transcontinental flight, and I read a little advertisement that was in one of those Sky Mall magazines or something like that, and I thought, that sounds like fun. And that was about 7 or 8 years before we even moved here or anything, but I just had it in the back of my mind, and I thought that would be really neat. And then when we moved to this property, I told my husband, now that we have land, we can get alpacas. So.
What's new about these animals is just because they are so unique. They're so different. Not very many people have them. When we did have a sick animal or we had a behavior issue, we didn't know who to turn to. There weren't. It's not something that you can just call your neighbor and say, "Hey, I've got a sick llama," or "I've got a llama that's or an alpaca that's acting funny." What are we supposed to do about that? And so, we've learned a lot of specialty about this particular family of animals because it is unique. The llamas we don't have nearly as many of, and we have them for guard animals. They're the protectors of the alpacas. The alpaca fleece is our ultimate end product. The llama fleece is usable, but it's not nearly as nice, and it doesn't have as much of a demand, and so we don't have them for their fleece, but they are good guard animals. And because they're in the same family, they get along very well. They complement each other. They follow the same veterinary regimen, the same feeding regimen, and so it's just easier to take care of them. We could have done something like dogs or donkeys, but they're not necessarily as compatible with the alpacas.
My husband and I both have outside jobs. I'm a physician, and he's a principal of a small private Christian school in the area. But we both still work together to take care of the farm. We're checking on the animals almost daily. On the days off, when I'm off, I'm out there seeing about the animals. We have farm hands that help us a lot with our day-to-day feeding, just making sure we have hay out and all of that sort of stuff. I call him the facilities guy, and he calls me the fiber gal. So he makes sure that our barns and our fences and waterers and everything as far as for housing and taking care of the alpacas is in working order. And then I was in charge of making sure that our shearer is here on which day, and then what we do with the fiber, getting it ready to go to the mill, and then deciding with our fiber consultant, Roxanne, who's our weaver. She's helped me so much decide which animals we're going to put together, their fiber to make which certain types of yarn. But I'm more of the fiber and the end product person, and he's more the infrastructure guy.
Fiber is in high demand for a number of reasons, because it is very hypoallergenic. Unlike wool, which the sheep have an oil on their skin called lanolin, and some folks are allergic to that. This is a dry fleece. There's no oil on it. And then it also comes in 22 naturally occurring colors, at least. Those are 22 officially naturally occurring colors. And so you can get a wide variety of coloring without dyeing the fiber. And so other folks who are allergic to the dye can also wear alpaca and not worry about breaking out and having allergic reactions.
Just as soon as those alpacas were unloaded at the house, it was an instant infection of fiber at our house. So we knew we had to do something. And in order to make it full circle, you need to. You really, it's best to show people what you can do with alpaca and provide more sales and attract more business and allow them to hopefully take care of themselves as far as their hay and vet bills and all that. So I like the creative side of building and making things, and weaving does that. Didn't have a clue how to weave, so I went back to school and studied at the Appalachian Center for Crafts for several years, and met some very creative people that pushed me far outside my comfort zone, and that's what led to the weaving studio.
We have yarn in skeins, so for knitters, handcrafters, crocheters. We also have knitted scarves and knitted hats, and then we have hand-woven scarves that were woven by Roxanne Wisnett. We also have rugs made from our second and third cuts that I've talked about earlier, and I send that fiber to a studio in Paint Rock, Texas, where they specialize in just weaving rugs from alpaca and llama fiber.
You know, much like sheep, the animals are shorn. We shear them once a year, and it's always in the spring, usually around the 1st of May. The animals spend the rest of the year growing their fleece, and so it's something that we do, and it makes them unique in their feeding regimen also, because we're not trying to bulk up the animals. So we feed them a very low protein diet. We're careful about what we feed them so that what they eat goes toward fiber production and not building up weight and mass, which not only would make them heavy and defeat the purpose, but it also makes their fiber coarser, so it's not as soft.
The fleece is taken off in a very specific fashion. We have firsts, seconds, and thirds. The first come off from the back of their hips and along their sides, and that's the highest quality fleece. That's what's spun later into yarn. The seconds come from the neck and kind of the back part of the hips down to about the middle part of the leg. Those are called seconds, and we turn that into rugs or other things that don't need to be quite as soft as yarn does. And then you have thirds, which is the leg fiber and the belly hair and some of the head, top knot on the head, and that can be turned into insulation, horse blankets, weed mats, and stuffing for coats and pillows and stuff like that.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all across the state into the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more. This program is brought to you in part by...
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture, providing leadership on food, agriculture, natural resources, and related issues based on sound public policy and efficient management.